Okay, welcome everyone to the Lee Select Board meeting of October 15th. It's 7 p.m. I'll open the meeting now. And first, we'll take care of this order of business pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20. I'm hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of this meeting. So if you would prefer not to be videoed or audioed, now would be your time to escape. All right, and we're going to go forward. The first order of business on our agenda is to review and discuss the open session minutes of October 1st, 2024. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the open session minutes of September 17th, 2024.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so it's all good the way it is, and I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So they are approved unanimously.
About 10-1.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that
Did I
was
say
the,
October 1st?
October 1st is the minutes we're approving.
Right.
The minutes, in the agenda, or in the actual minutes, it's confusing because it mentions the minutes of
Oh, yes, you're right. So,
17th. So we just need to amend the motion
Yeah,
to
October 1st.
October
yeah,
1st.
I'll amend the motion to approving the minutes of October 1st, 2024.
For some reason, I thought I heard you say that. All right, so we have a motion and a second to do that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Got it. I see what you're talking about. Okay. All right, our next order of business is a public hearing. We're now opening that public hearing. It's on an application for a transfer and change of location of an annual wine and malt package store license from Global Montello Group Corp., doing business as Convenience Plus at 241 Main Street in Lee, to Krupa Realty, Inc., doing business as Rocky Mart at 245 Housatonic Street. If you would like to announce who you are and go forward, we're here to listen.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Select Board members, Attorney John Aida, McDermott, Quilty, Miller and Hanley, 28 State Street in Boston, here on behalf of the applicant Krupa Realty, Inc. With me is Nikunj Patel. He is the proposed manager of record. This is the Rocky Mart, the Shell gas station at 245 Housatonic. We're seeking to transfer the existing license, which is held by Global Montello Group Corp. At 241 Main Street to this location at 245 Housatonic. Essentially, it is a corp-to-corp transfer, and then it's obviously a change of location, so those are the two matters before you. Mr. Patel, just briefly by way of experience, has experience in the industry. He's familiar with the rules and regulations of the board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth as it pertains to the sale and service of alcohol. He is tip certified, and all staff on site will be tip certified. The owners, Krupa Realty, Inc., both Mr. Darren Lee and Rakesh Vyas, are both experienced operators. They presently hold a package store license in Pittsfield. They previously held licenses in Lanesboro and in Hillsdale. All their time, they've never had any issues of violations or any disciplinary matters against those licenses. This location has a current POS system in place for age-restricted items, for tobacco items. They're going to implement that as well for the beer and wine items. So what could happen is if a product is brought to the register, either Mr. Patel or one of the other staff members are prompted to check a valid ID, and everyone will be carded, and a valid ID will have to be entered, and a valid date of birth will have to be put into the system for that purchase to go forward. So we think with that, based on that and their experiences, seasoned operators, we anticipate not to have any issues or concerns at this location. And I'm available if you have any questions, or for myself or for Mr. Patel.
Gentlemen, questions, comments?
I see the floor plan here, and I'm not sure that we require this, but do you guys have storage space? Oh, I see now.
There is, in the rear.
In the rear there.
Storage
There's
has to be all locked up.
And there's nowhere else on the premises, so you're gonna be storing alcohol there.
Correct. And then in the off hours of sales, so they're open earlier than the allowed hours for alcohol sales. Make sure that's secured. And also, again, that POS system, if, for example, someone brought up a bottle of wine in the hours before 8 a.m., which are the earliest you
Right.
permitted, it would lock them out. They would not be able to conduct that sale.
Okay.
So we're trying to have a couple systems in place other than the human staff member, also have a backup
Sure.
as well.
That's good.
So it's a good system.
So what are the hours of operation, and do they vary on weekends versus
It should.
weekdays?
So they're open as early as 5 AM, but the sales that we're asking on the license
Sure.
would be from 8 AM to 11 PM.
To 11 PM?
And then on Sundays it would be 10 AM to 11 PM.
Gotcha.
Traditionally, they close around 10 PM, so that may be actually
Sure.
shorter, but in the event there's a holiday or something and they want to stay open.
Okay.
We'd like to
Very good.
serve till 11.
Okay. Any other questions or anything from the board? Sean? You good? No? Okay. So I was just going over your floor plan myself here. All the other all the other paperwork looks in order. Since this is a public hearing, if anyone from the public would like to ask a question, Kathy, you're going to have to come up. Announce who you are for the record.
And there's the tall and short of it.
That's it. That is the tall and short of it. There's no doubt.
Question,
Sure.
Because I was confused, I read this, and I saw a Rocky Mark, and I said, I've never heard of a Rocky Mark movie, but, you know, I could be sleeping on the job, I don't know. And 245 Housatonic Street, so I looked that up, and it says it's, dresser,
No, it's the Shell station.
no, it's McDonald's. And 245.
Well, they may own the whole
Do they know
property.
part of
Yeah, I can
it?
respond.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's the same parcel.
Right,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
I just was
Yeah.
concerned about the
I did the
address.
same thing, Kathy,
Yeah.
and had the same sort of thought, but just, I think that, yeah, it's all
Okay,
the
so
same
it's
lot.
all the
Yeah.
same.
Two businesses, one property.
Okay, that's fine. And then are they going to change the name? It says Food Mart in the front. Is it going to be Rocky Mart, or does it make any difference?
It's up to these folks to answer that.
I think there's a small little banner, I think, right now, that does say Rocky Mart. Might be, I'll check it out when I go over, I can get gas on the way.
I mean,
But anyways, you know, that's what the business name will be, and if the town needs to be updated, if it's not already, we'll make sure we update it.
That's fine. And you're just transferring from Convenience Plus on Main Street to Rocky Mart on Housatonic.
That's right, so there's no
That's so-
additional license, it's
right,
that same
okay.
wine and malt license.
Okay, thank you very much. Just needed clarification. Thanks.
And just
Thank you.
for your client's sake, if there is a change of signage, you need to get a
Absolutely.
sign permit.
Yep, absolutely.
So you should do that before you put it up.
Right.
Or if there's any kind of, if you consider it a grand opening or a change of ownership or whatever, there's different laws that might be applicable to you.
Right, great.
But definitely get a sign permit. You
Okay.
do that through talking to the building department.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay? All right. Any other public comments or questions? Seeing none, what is your pleasure here, folks?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the application for a transfer and change of location of an annual wine and malt package store license.
All right. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
All right. Last chance. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that would be unanimous. So good luck.
Thank you very much.
And we'll go from here, and you can check out the little banner. All right, on your way out of town. All right, thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Mhm. All right, next, item number 3 is public comment. And if there's any public who wishes to make comment, now is your chance. Okay,
Kathy Ball, the Youth Commission. The League Youth Commission will be participating in Trunk or Treat at Middle and High School on October 24th for the first time. We're really shaky as about to how much candy we should purchase. So since the board has been involved in this, what would you recommend?
lots.
Lots.
I can't tell you how much we've individually each spent on Memorial Day and all these other parades that we do, but it takes more than you think.
Right, right.
So what I would say. And while Chris isn't going to be here, I think it came up that he should be donating a bunch because he's going to be gone. So, in addition, I really don't know what
Okay.
to tell you because did they, I think there, yeah, there you go. Is it true that the school sends home sign-up sheets or something for kids, or is that
I
not
believe there's a
so?
registration.
A registration? So Kathy, maybe a day
Check
or
with
two
the school.
before, check with them and just see how
Okay.
many kids are registered. Because
Right,
I think that's what,
There used to be unless they
yeah.
got rid of it.
And they may say they don't do it anymore, but if they do, that's one way to kind of
right,
calculate.
to get
and
an
then,
idea.
you know, I don't know if kids grab, I haven't gone. Last year I wasn't able to
Yeah.
make it. These gentlemen were. So I don't know if kids like take one or two pieces or if they
Right.
just grab a handful and go. You know,
I
don't-
actually just grabbed 2 or 3 pieces per bag.
Okay, very good. So we put
Okay.
it in.
There's never any left. so
Okay,
I don't
right.
think you can bring too much.
Yeah.
So you actually put some candy in a bag and you hand the
They-
bag
no,
to
they-
them?
they
Or
have a
they
bag,
have a
the
bag?
trick or
Oh,
treat
yeah,
bag.
trick or treat, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
sure.
Then the Lee Youth Commission is excited for the return of its second Saturday Gym Night Series. That will kick off with an evening of dodgeball for children ages 6 to 11 at the Crossway Tower Gym on Saturday, November 9th, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. The event is free, but you do have to register in advance. And I guess it's BIT period LY/Lee Gym Nights. And that's how you can get on, whatever you have to get on to register. Okay? Or else they can always get in touch with
I was going to
the
say, do
town
they go to the
website.
town website? Yeah, they can go to the town
Link it on
website.
there,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Because
All right,
if you
excellent.
want, I do have a copy of the,
If you would like to leave it here, you
this,
can
and I
do
can leave
that,
it to
or
you, and
whatever you
you
want.
could put it up on, put it on
I
the
think it's
door.
downstairs and we can put another one up.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. Thank you. Can have it get to Sabrina.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, well, yeah, that's, I think it is too. I think I saw it on the door, Kathy, coming in, I think it's already, I think we already have it up in the entryway. But, all right, anyone else wish to speak during public comment time? All right, seeing no one is raising their hand, we will move on. Our first order of business under general business is a classification hearing. And we have, from the assessor's office, we have Sarah Navin. Sarah, if you'd like to come up and chat with us. We got a report here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Here for the annual classification hearing. The purpose of the classification hearing is to decide whether or not the town wants to vote in a single tax rate or a split tax rate. Single tax rate would be residential and open space. The second rate would be commercial, industrial, and personal property. As of right now, Tyler values were preliminarily approved on September 30th, 2024 by the Bureau of Local Assessments, and that value of the town is $1,428,424,721. The FY '25, fiscal year '25 average single home value for 1,855 single homes is $406,437.03, with a total value of $753,940,700. The new construction added $6,180,320 to the real estate, commercial, and industrial construction value. Personal property added an additional $26,832,710 for a total new growth value for fiscal year '25 at $33,013,030, which will help lower the tax rate. The reason for the significant amount of personal property new growth this year is from one single account that reported a new growth in the amount of $21,658,420. I just wanted you all to be aware of that. Normally, we don't have that high of a new growth. The excess levy capacity for fiscal year '25 is going to be $4,222,096.88. This is the difference between the tax levy and the amount the town raised and appropriated for FY '25. So as of this year, the board has recommended a single tax rate for FY '25. Any questions?
Sure. Questions or comments?
None for me.
No, very thorough report. Thank you very much.
You're
for
welcome.
what you've done. I know in the past, I think forever, that I remember, the board has always had a single tax rate.
Correct.
Personally, I don't see any reason to change at this point. I think
Correct.
sometimes the split rate might send the wrong message to commercial industrial people to maybe we're not as friendly to having them in town. And I think that right now we have a very good mix of residential and commercial and business. And I wouldn't want to discourage anyone from coming to town if we had an exorbitantly high tax rate on commercial. So, yeah, thank you. Anyway, what's your pleasure, folks?
Gordon, thank you for that, and I agree as
Sure.
well. I move that we implement a single tax rate for fiscal year 2025.
All right, do I have a second on that motion? All right. Any other quick questions or comments from the public or anyone? All right, nothing there, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous. We're on board with you. All right, thank you. Thanks very much. Sorry, Sean, I'm trying to interfere with your space there. Okay, next we have an LYA update and potential resolution of surplus land at 170 Graylock Street. If anybody from the LYA would like to stand up and have a say-so, come on up. Announce yourself and we'll go from there. I think we have somebody online also who may want to speak.
I'm Sharon
Yes.
Terry. I'm the director of the Lee Youth Association.
I'm Ollie Zabian, I'm the president of the board.
Great, thank you. All right, and I think last time you came here, you want to update everybody at home in case they didn't listen last time
Sure.
as to what we're about to talk about? So that way
Yes.
they don't hear me all the time.
So the LYA has been looking for land and buildings over the last several years because we need to relocate as our lease is up in less than 4 years now at 480 Pleasant Street where we are. So we've kind of had exhausted a lot of, when we were looking for land or buildings, we kind of, did not find anything, and then approached the town 2 weeks ago to see if we could research land. Actually, we approached before that to see if we could research land. And we had researched the land over on Maple Street, the area that was cleared for a practice field. And the school had opted not to use that for a practice field. So that was an area that, after we looked at it, seemed to work for us, or should work for us, for a new building as phase one, for our Busy Bee Child Care Center, as well as all of our offices to work out of for all of our LYA projects. And phase two would be a regulation-sized gym. So that's where we are, and then we did the research, found out that that land would work for us, and you were going to look into what it would take to, for the town to give, lease, sell that land to us, whatever it would be. And so I think we're at that point now. You're going to let us know what we needed to do from this point, if that's a possibility.
Well, I know that we did look into it with town council, and there was a number of steps, as always, with government that we have to cross. Chris, do you want to, since you're the procurement person, do you want to explain the procurement steps that would go forward? So, and I just want to make sure people understand who are listening or who are here tonight that if we do this declaration of surplus property, which you're going to explain, that it doesn't necessarily mean that here, LYA, you got it. There's going to be a procedure that we have to go to because the law makes us put it out there, and that's what Chris will explain to everybody, and he can explain it better than I can. So I'll turn it over to him.
Yeah, so the first step is to declare what we're looking at, just under 5 acres, as surplus property, which the board could consider tonight. And they did provide, which everyone has, a little map of where the property would be. And so there's no confusion, the parcel is actually a 170 Graylock Street that we are referencing. This just happens to be the portion along Maple Street. So it's the parcel also goes on Graylock, so just for the legal portion of it, it does reference it as Graylock, but
Sure.
be assured, it's the Maple Street part of that. So, so the board has to declare that as surplus property. The second step in the process is that we need to post this on the State Goods and Services Combis website as a lease for a less than market value property. So, and we need to do what we call a qualifications-based request for proposal. So we have to post this in the newspaper statewide, on the state, again, combis and so forth, that we are offering basically a $1 a year lease for 99 years, which was obviously below market value. We would get proposals from, we would have certain criteria though. It would have to be for a, they would have to have a daycare operation, it would have to be a nonprofit, et cetera. Established nonprofit, and there would be rating criteria. So it would be posted, there would be a committee put together to review it, and then each criteria would be ranked in a rubric, and that would go to it's not a money type bid, but again, a qualifications base, so it would be based on who met the qualifications the best for that. So at that point, again, there could be just the LIA, there could potentially be others, but
10 people, we don't know. Until you put it out there, we don't know.
Question.
No,
yeah.
What's the timeline on that posting?
So if we do the surplus property tonight, it takes us maybe about 2 weeks to get it posted in the newspaper and on combis. So we could have something end of this month, beginning of next month. We have to allow 30 days for proposals. So the next step after that would be to go to town meeting, because we are looking at a contract over 3 years. So town meeting, if the board chooses to call a special town meeting, could be December, January. Unless we wait.
Worst case would be May.
Worst case would be May, yeah.
Just, if we don't have anything come up in the meantime, that we want to have a town meeting for, generally speaking.
It would be a vote of town meeting,
Right.
and then we could enter into the contract. So,
In that contract, while we say 99 years, it could be 50 years, it could be, and there's a lot of conditional issues, I think, that would have to be taken care of by contract. I don't know how much of that has to be in the posting.
Yeah, so part of it, I've got a draft of it ready to go. It's being reviewed by legal right now, so we have something to go. And in there would be certain, part of the grading criteria is that the town would have use of the facility. Right. What would happen if you're going to get a mortgage, if that wasn't paid, or if LIA goes out of business and so forth. Yeah. So all of those things are addressed in there.
All the stipulations to protect the town, obviously.
Maintenance would have to, whoever the leasee is required to keep the building maintained to a certain level, the grounds maintained, and so forth.
It won't be a short contract with whoever we settle with, that's for sure. It's going to be a lot of contingencies involved.
This is something similar that we did for, I guess, a good example might be with Crossway. The town of Lee owns Crossway. We did I think in that one, it was an 80-some year ground lease to Berkshire Housing to run senior housing, so.
That makes sense, I remember that, yeah. Any other questions from you folks? Because we're going to open it up to public comment and questions too.
Would it be a big deal to have a special meeting in December?
I don't know yet. We have some other things that we may want to move on prior than May.
The sooner we know, we would have to have the rights to the property so we can apply for grants.
Right, exactly.
So the sooner we know, the quicker we move on for the new year.
Understood. All right.
So to have a special town meeting, you would have to have several things to go to a special town meeting?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Okay.
But there are some things in the works. Planning board's working on some things. There's some other issues that I asked the town administrator to look into. One is what's called a zoning administrator. So, because we're having a lot of trouble, but we'll bring that up later on volunteers. But I think Chris will deal with that during his report. So there are other reasons that may come up to have a town meeting.
Just more of a coordinating, that if we're
Yes.
going to do it, that we make sure, if, for example, if we wait a couple weeks, we could get 2 or 3 other things in there versus doing it right away.
Yeah.
And the planning board might say, geez, we're
Right.
we're 1 meeting away from adding the zoning on there, so we can get,
Yeah.
and get more things done. But-
Okay. Anything else from you folks before I open it up to others? No? All right. Anyone else like to come up and have anything to say or online? Yeah, Josh, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Hi,
Hi.
Josh Bloom, 204 West Park Street. The select board, it sounds like what you intend to vote on tonight sounds to me very premature and a hasty decision to make. And I'll explain why. As part of the Open Space and Recreation Plan from last year, a survey was conducted that found only 10% of the 266 town respondents were very satisfied with the places for children and youth to play and recreate. The Open Space and Recreation Plan found that Lee, quote, Lee is deficient in meeting many of the recreational needs of the population. Particular attention needs to be paid to the development of recreational programs for all ages and to the maintenance of its facilities, including the provision of modern, safe equipment that is accessible to all people, especially those with disabilities. The goals for the Lee Open Space and Recreation Plan included providing active outdoor recreation opportunities in areas, promoting cooperative use of resources, encourage participation, and continue to provide high-quality public education and town services and facilities. The action plan that came out of Lee's 2024 master plan calls on the select board, the town administrator, the Lee Youth Commission, and the town planner to quote, form a task force to assess the need for a community center, identify possible sites, develop programming, and implement a community center plan. And that, according to the master plan, is supposed to happen between the years 2024 and 2026. I think it would be wise for the town and the select board to see how a more shared vision of an LYA town facility could be mutually beneficial, a vision that incorporates the thought processes for a potential community center, and for the town's vision of expanded areas for youth open space and recreation. Further, Wildcat Sports Group has laid out an additional vision for an indoor-outdoor sports facility in Lee. Before approving or moving ahead with any of these plans from the LYA, I urge you to see if there is a way to bring all 3 of these visions and interests together into one design with real public and private participation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay. So a couple comments as I'm thinking about what you're saying, Josh. I don't disagree with a lot of your points. I'm wondering if there's a way to move forward for everyone. Do you know, asking you, Josh, the Lee Wildcat Athletic Group, do they actually have a location in mind, or did they just, this is just a big idea? Yeah.
In a presentation that they've given at least to our committee,
Yeah.
The best of my recollection of the presentation was that they had a very similar vision of an indoor-outdoor facility that they were going to fundraise for the site, and I think that they were going to similarly turn to the town to see if there was any property available for donation.
Okay, all right.
I can say that's not true, being Wildcat Sports Group. When we look to the town for donation.
Can you, come on, just so people can hear you, thank you. Yep, no, I just want to make sure that.
I didn't mean to say
Yeah.
that.
No, that's okay. I'm sure you guys work together and have talked, so, sure, just whatever. Yeah.
Obviously, as a separate entity and a non-for-profit, you know, our 5-10-year goal as an organisation would be to source and find athletic fields, indoor-outdoor sporting facilities
Okay.
for the youth in Lee. Obviously, initially our goal has been to bring back youth programming and offer some of the sports, which obviously in this year we've had many different sports, and again we start again in 2025 with some new sports that we'll be offering as well. But as it stands right now, we have not located a plot of land, piece of land, but the goal and the vision of the entity itself is to down the road have something. Now, whether this is working with the LYA, the Lee Youth Commission, whatever that may be, that is open for discussion. But right now, as an entity where we stand today in terms of finances, you know, the real scope of the vision itself, have we located land, have we, you know, I've done previous projects in the state of Massachusetts with facilities, soccer specific, but haven't yet said this field here or this plot of land or this zone here would be specific to a good location to offer a sports program facility.
Okay.
So there we
Thank
go.
you.
Pleasure.
All right. I know, later tonight, we're actually going to talk about another issue that could tie in some way for one group or another. And that is, there's going to be, we're going to be discussing a purchase and sale agreement with, at 35 Tamarack Avenue with the Abner Halden folks. There's quite a bit of land there that's going to basically tie the town property all the way from Maple Street, all the way over to Center Street, or, you know, I mean, that's a big block of land, East Center, excuse me, East Center Street, which could also be utilized then to utilize with the school, not to give to the school, but for different kind of sports issues, maybe even a small building. I don't think it would be big enough, and having walked the property, probably couldn't fit the kind of project that they're looking for with the kind of square footage, the 12,000 square feet, or a standalone community center. But I'm just wondering, talking out loud, if we do move a resolution today to declare surplus property, I would assume we could still discuss issues of sharing the property, with get everybody together and talk about, is there a way to do this? What are the insurance obligations? What are the, what's the rest of the property? Because now we're talking only 4 acres, but this property goes all the way, as you mentioned, to Greylock Street. So is there a way to incorporate even a bigger block of land? And as far as getting the town involved in a community center at this point, I think we have so much money that's being out on bond, at least this immediate proposal doesn't cost the taxpayers any more money. With it, the whole construction burden and cost burden is on the LYA or whoever might respond. The town isn't going to pay for anything at this point. If we get into a community center, then I think that's going to be a bigger discussion with the town at town meeting, but we could still roll this all together and get it in front of town meeting to see what the appetite is. Is that a reasonable approach, or what do you think?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's flaws in it, so.
If I may, Gordon, I don't see the two interests, the two organizations being in conflict with each other.
Nor do I. Mm-hmm.
And there may be a way to move this together, or you may be able to move both of them forward individually, but that is going to require some conversation, some negotiation, identifying needs, identifying lands that are available, proximity from one organization to the other, that sort of thing. So, and ultimately, it's going to be up to the town as a whole anyway, but I think it's a worthwhile conversation, and we certainly want to help you folks out, but we want to do it in such a way that it benefits all parties involved.
Sean, any thoughts?
Two organizations, there was 3 mentioned, which 2 were we?
Yeah. Don't know yet. I think this is the broader conversation we have to have with Josh's concepts and discussion of what he said, and this gentleman also with the, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name, right? Simon, thank you. I know you've been here before and we've talked to you. Sorry about that. I'm not always great. I know your face, but I'm not always great with names.
Face, not the accent.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you see, I didn't say that, did I? I have other friends with a similar accent, so it's okay. No, I think that if we were to go forward with this resolution, I don't think it takes off the table any of the things that Mr. Bloom has said, because it's a long way from tonight's discussion to a town meeting, whether it be December, January, or May. There's a lot of time for discussion and negotiation. And again, the biggest thing I think in my mind is at least getting this first step out there. You know, we may decide that none of the proposals are right and not go forward with anybody. You know, but I think that at least it's a good first step. And Josh, your hand's still up, so if you have more to say, please do.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think the LYA does an amazing job, and I think it's crucial for the town that they continue to be able to do what they do. So, so I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. Two, I think that that the idea of bringing these ideas together in some form or fashion to have that conversation about how we can have a shared vision or how we could be mutually beneficial to one another if we pool our ideas and pool our resources, I think really could benefit all of us. And so that's all I'm saying. So if it could happen, if all of that can happen after your vote tonight, that sounds great. I just wanted to make sure that I was also clearing that up so that I didn't sound like I was in opposition.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I would think that the vote tonight opens up those doors for us to have that conversation. And we'll see how it goes. And again, it may mean some tweaking to whatever posting has to be done, but I think we can make that arrangement before we put anything in a paper, you know, and I don't know if that means I don't think we have to tweak the declaration of surplus property at this point.
Yeah, right now, it wouldn't change anything on the declaration. That's just kind of a formality to begin this, but not the contract, but the request for proposals asks for two things specifically to be proposed by the applicant. One, that it integrate with other resources nearby, and two, that they're to discuss what opportunities the public can have to use the facility, the gymnasium, that sort of thing. So,
well, that sounds like it's a step down the right road. I know. Sounds like it, so, okay.
So can I just?
Please.
Okay. So the only thing I just want to, say is that the LYA has a time constraint here, so we have now less than 4 years on our lease, so we would have to, in order to not shut down all of the childcare, and our offices, which run all of our other programs, we run all of our other programs out of there. In order for us not to have to close all of that down, we need to be out of the place we are in 4 years from this past June. And in a new location.
Right. I know it's a tight call. Understood, because you still have not just grants, but money rate or whatever you have to do. And I understand that.
And we're always willing to work. I mean, we've worked with Simon, many times before. We worked with Kathy and Josh. We've talked to them a lot, so we're always willing to talk to everybody about, about like working together. But this particular project, and we just don't want to be homeless.
Yes,
or
nor do
the LYA just like shut down and in less than 4 years. So that's our concern.
Okay, thank you.
That'll change your report, Josh. If there's no LYA, the youth would be at top of that list.
There you go. So you never know. Okay, do you have something? Yes.
I just have, no, I think I agree with everybody, and I think we should keep going down this road. I'm just wondering, I'm looking at the declaration, the surplus declaration here, and the parcel map says 4.95 acres, the surplus says 4 acres.
I was going to suggest that amendment to you, that when we wrote this, we got the plan afterwards, so just to adopt it as 4.95.
I already wrote it down.
Okay. I just didn't want to short anybody.
No. It's almost a whole acre.
Yeah.
So no, and I appreciate you bringing that up. That's great. Does anyone else have a comment? If not, I'm going to read the proclamation and decide what you want to do with it.
Okay.
So you guys good with that? Any other questions or comments? If not, this is what's in front of us today is a resolution to declare surplus property. It says, whereas the town of Lee has authority to declare items or land as surplus that are no longer deemed necessary or adequate to perform the duties of government as prescribed by law, and whereas the Board of Selectmen can declare the land listed below as surplus property, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Selectmen, or the Select Board, of the Town of Lee, meeting in regular sessions this 15th day of October 2024, that this board hereby approves the following as surplus property. 4.95 acres of undeveloped land on the southernmost portion of 170 Greylock Street. Parcel ID is 019.A-0000-0086.0, immediately adjacent to the west side of the Lee High School baseball field and as shown on the attached map. Bids: the town will accept qualification-based proposals for use of the land listed above. Please address proposals to the Office of Town Administrator, 32 Main Street, Lee, Mass. Proposal details and criteria will be available at www.lee.ma.us or in the town clerk's office. So that would be the resolution. Do we need to put the zip code on the Lee, Mass thing? Okay, great. So what is, if we've had enough discussions, what's your proposal out here, folks? What would you like to do?
I guess, is the motion to declare the property surplus, is that?
I think, yeah, as read in the resolution.
I'll move that we declare the aforementioned property and acreage as surplus.
Okay. Per the declaration.
Per the declaration.
Okay, just make, that way it captures
Yeah.
everything. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a second. Any last-minute conversations or comments before we go to a vote? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it is unanimous to put this out as read. Okay? Thank you very much, and you'll be seeing something.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, we do have in front of us a purchase and sale agreement for 35 Tamarack Avenue. It is for $200,000 for, how many acres was it? It's a lot of acreage, I know.
27.1.
27.1 acres for $200,000. Its assessed value is $220,000. We had an assessment done. We received an assessment.
appraised value.
Appraised value, right, an appraised value of so basically, we're purchasing it for $20,000 less than the appraised value. We have any comments or questions about the purchase and sale agreement? And this is always, as always, it's contingent on going before town meeting and getting town meeting approval, and if the town meeting does not approve, then it's a done deal and the purchase and sale goes away.
If I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
I'd like to note that when we looked at the property, this would make one contiguous piece of property owned by the town from, as you said, East Center Street all the way to Maple Street. And that's a nice chunk of land for the town to have at its disposal. We've heard tonight that obviously there are, needs to be met by various organizations in the town, and I think that we and people who have gone before us have made a smart move in purchasing all this property, because it will ultimately benefit all of us here in town.
Sure. All right, then, could I have a motion to allow us to sign off on the purchase and sale?
Mr. Chairman, I move we sign the purchase and sale agreement for 35 Tamarack Avenue.
Second.
So we have a second. So we have a motion and a second. No public comments, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it is a unanimous vote. We'll do that. Next order of business is, we're going to have a little event coming up on October 18th, which is a Friday, I believe, isn't it?
This Friday,
Friday, yep, this Friday. It actually is the 52nd anniversary of the Clean Water Act. And as such, the town has decided to declare that the Save the Housatonic Day. And there'll be a proclamations at noon at the gazebo in Lee, right next to the river. And this is what the proclamation says. It'll be read again on the 18th. It says, the Town of Lee proclamation, October 18th, 2024. Whereas 52 years ago, the Clean Water Act was passed to regulate pollutants into the waters of the United States. And whereas the Housatonic River flows through the heart of Lee and the Berkshires, and whereas the Town of Lee seeks a proper cleanup of the river that GE, General Electric, polluted with PCBs and now refuses to adequately remediate, now therefore be it resolved that I, Gordon Bailey, Chairman of the Select Board of Lee, Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim that October 18th, 2024 be known as Save the Housatonic in Lee, Massachusetts, given under this hand and seal of the Town of Lee this 18th day of October 2024. It'll be attested by, I'll sign and be attested by our town clerk. Any comments, thoughts, or rewording, or?
It's to the point.
Okay. Ron, anything? Nope. No? All right, any comments from the public? All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to allow the chair to sign this proclamation and make it.
I'll move, Mr. Chair, that we allow you to sign this proclamation of the Town of Lee for the Save the Housatonic Day.
Okay. Do you have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. It will be done. So if anyone wants to come and be a participant, we do have a few speakers, and so that'll be at the gazebo on Friday at noon, October 18th. Next, we have a utility cut permit in front of us, 78 Main Street. It's nunk-poke-chunk, which means it's already been done. It was done because it had to be done. It is a sewer problem they had. They had to cut into the road to do this. It's signed by Van Zant Sewer and Drain. Is it Drain? I can't even read the second word. Sewer and something. Oh, well. We know who they are. And, yeah, if it says Van Zant, plumbing and heating, yeah, because it doesn't say heating on this, but anyway, it was right across from Salmon Run, and they had to cut in. We had no objections that I see. What is your?
We did collect $1,000 bond.
Yeah, right, to make sure that the road is repaired correctly, and I do see a copy of the check. All right, what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
Mr. Chairman, I move we belatedly approve the utility cut permit for 78 Main Street.
Okay, do we have a second? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, very good. Our next order of business would be a temporary sign permit application, which comes from the Select Board, and it is from St. Mary's. They want to put out some signs. They've done this several times in the past. Freestanding signs in 3 different places, I believe. Let's see if that's correct. Nope, 6 temporary signs, they say, to announce their annual holiday bazaar, and they're also requesting that we waive the fee for that. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the temporary sign permit for the St. Mary's Bazaar and waive the fee.
All right, do I have a second? We do. Any questions or comments from the public? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Thank you. All right, the board's last bit of business on the agenda was we have another request from the town clerk to make another appointment to the, and it's to appoint Susan Burns as an election worker. And this request comes from Rachel, our town clerk, Rachel Armstrong. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move we appoint Susan Burns as the Lee election worker.
Second.
All right. No objections or comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that would be a unanimous appointment. Thank you. We'll let Rachel know right away. All right, well, that basically concludes the general business that we have. Next, item 5 was any topic the chairman could not reasonably anticipate. I think we did a pretty good job anticipating most things tonight. So I don't have anything. Gentlemen, anything you want to bring up, Sean?
Halloween.
Yes, that's a good point. Thank
Do
you.
we know the hours? So is Chris gonna report that?
It's usually- Oh, you're going to do it in, well, I'll let you do it.
had that on tonight.
Yeah, should have been. Well, then, we didn't anticipate it because it's not here. So Halloween will be on the 31st. We decided many moons ago, and I would like to continue that, to actually have Halloween on Halloween instead of a different day. And we always had it from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And we asked people who want to participate in that and wish to interact with the Halloweeners out there all dressed up to please leave. By this time, you'll need your front light on, your front porch, so that it's an invitation for the people who want to trick or treat. So thank you, Sean. That's what we've always done in the past, and that's what we'll be doing this year, unless someone wants to entertain a change.
Just for the record, that's Thursday, October 31st.
Thank you.
5 to 7.
Thank you.
And not to confuse anybody, but trunk or treat is gonna be the week before that.
That's
This is
right.
Thursday before
Right.
Thanksgiving.
So, very
Or,
confusing, though.
sorry.
A lot of candy.
Halloween, I said.
Yeah, you said, I know, you said. Anyway,
And All Hallows leaves this Saturday.
there you go. All right, anything else that we didn't put on the agenda that can't reasonably wait till the next meeting? All right, seeing nothing else, then I'll, and thank you, Sean, for bringing that up. Town administrator report.
Yeah, so first thing, as Gordon alluded to earlier, we are in need of a ZBA member and an alternate. We have a couple members that are hit or miss whether they can make it, so it's very, very difficult to get a quorum right now. We pretty much have to have all of them present. So it is a struggle, and so if anyone is interested, feel free to reach out to myself or Sabrina at the town hall, and we can get you on the agenda to be appointed for zoning board of appeals. From the public safety building, we are moving along on that. Our latest update is we are in the bid process for hazard materials and geotechnical borings. We should be starting those within the next few weeks in preparation for a winter demolition. So we have our OPM and our architect are both been hired, and so like I said, we're hoping an early demo package will be out this winter. Lastly, I have 2 bits of good news to share. So I have, we did receive a grant towards that project, specifically just for the sort of the reconstruction of the parking area down there. So there's $60,000 from the State Rural Development Fund towards the design of the new parking spaces for the public parking on Railroad Street. And we also received $1 million from the MassWorks Infrastructure to rebuild Beartown Mountain Road. So, and
About time.
So, and a big thank you to Lenny for all his
Yes.
hard work on this one.
That's great, that's been needed for many
Oh.
years. That's really good
Copies
news.
for you.
Very
Oh.
good news. Thank you. No, that's great. Boy, that road has needed to be reconstructed. And even more importantly, up in DCR territory, the state needs
Yeah.
to do something because it's in really bad shape. And at one point, they were thinking about abandoning the maintenance of that from the Lee side. I think it would be a negative, I think that would have a negative effect on our businesses, because people who come off the turnpike to go there, they have to go all the way around to Great Barrington now, because it's almost impassable in a car.
Yeah.
And then if they forget something, they're gonna go down and shop in Great Barrington, which is okay, you know, but it would be nice to have them have the option to also come right back down the mountain into Lee.
Yep.
With the outlet village and our main street and restaurants, so right now, I think we're missing a lot of business support by not having that road fixed, and maybe we could reach out. I tried to mention this once before to one of the individuals in the state government. I'll talk to you about that, and see if we can't get a little more support from the rural communities folks. okay, because it does affect us as a rural community. So, thank you. Anything else?
That is it.
Okay. Last chance. Anything else from you guys?
No.
Okay, well, then I will announce that our next regular communication will be here on November 5th, 2024, at 7 PM, right in this courtroom. And at that point, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is a motion, and we are adjourned. Thank you very much.